Good afternoon, rap stars. It's your host, Romeo Santos, along with co-host Kenny Fulton. How are you today, Kenny?
I'm doing good, brother. How you doing?
I'm doing really good, man. I'm really excited. I'm loving this real estate market, and I'm loving to see the little bit of changes that we're starting to see slowly but surely. So today we are going to do a state of the market for the Maryland, DC region. All right.
All right, let's do it.
All right, very good. So, guys, this is technical. It's not going to be a lot of fun, yet agents, this is the type of stuff you got to know. And home buyers and home sellers, very important for you to know as well. Okay. So I'm going to give you a bunch of numbers and a bunch of statistics, and I'll try to go slow, but I get really jazzed about this. So Kenny will help to slow me down if I get a little bit crazy. Fair?
Deal.
All right. Very good. All right. So we're going to go macro and then bring it in micro as we go. Okay. So first and foremost, I'm going to start with the entire state of Maryland. Okay. So these statistics are from the from the Maryland Association of Realtors for June 2021. Okay. So I'm going to break down these statistics and then we'll talk about what that means to you as an agent or as a consumer. All right. So in Maryland, the entire state, not including DC, for June 2021 over 2020, the number of units that actually sold last month is up 24.2%. That is huge. Now, granted, last year, this time, we were still a bit on lockdown and there wasn't quite as much inventory. People weren't out quite as much. However, people were still out there buying. So we have sold in the month of June in Maryland only, 10,790 units versus 8,686 homes. So what that means for buyers out there and sellers out there is that more people have transacted, right? Are you starting to feel that, Kenny?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, we had a pretty big June ourselves, so
we did.
Definitely.
Yeah. We had a huge June. We were very fortunate. We helped a lot of families. Okay, average sales price. So sellers, you're gonna love this one. Agents, you too, means a lot for your pocket. The average sales price, this is crazy. Okay. In 1 year, from June 20 to June 2021, the average sales price is up 17.4%.
Wow.
Let's put that in numbers. Kenny, how much is that per $100,000?
$17,000.
$17,000. You like how I gave it to him easy for the first one, folks? All right. How about at our average sales price, which is at about $500,000?
Probably about 65.
Yeah. I mean, it's huge. That's huge. That's a ton of money from 1 year to the next. And the median sales price means, everybody, half of the homes sold for less and half of the homes sold for more. The median sales price is up 13.6%. That's typically what housing statistic folks really look at, is the median, not the average. I don't know why. Average to me seems to be a bit more important, but the median seems to be about where that split is. It is now $375,000, whereas last year was $330,000. So those are huge numbers, massive changes. I've been licensed since 2000, and the last time I saw changes like this were back in the 2006-07 market, before everything went berserk and crashed. Thankfully, we do not have those issues now. Okay. All right. Now let's talk about the pending units. Okay. This is interesting. Now, the closed units in June year over year is up 24%. However, the pending units year over year are separated by 605 units, 10,699 versus 10,094. That is interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the reason I say that's interesting is because we had a big month in June closings, but where did June closings come from, Kenny?
June closings came from late May.
Yeah. Late April, May contracts, right? They closed in June. Well, if in June, the pending contracts go back and almost match the year before, the way I'm reading this is that we're starting to see a leveling out.
Yeah, okay? Absolutely.
I mean, that's what I'm seeing. Now, with that said, 2021 is still massively more advantageous to everybody involved
Mhm.
Well, sorry, not buyers. Sorry, buyers, not you guys yet. Okay.
Well, buyers as well, because rates are still super low.
Well, correct. Rates are back down under 3% right now, which is bananas. Okay. So in 2021, the active inventory for the month of June was 8,550.
Hmm. Yeah.
In 2020, buyers are going to cringe. 15,558.
Wow.
Double. Well, not double, not double, almost double. That's huge. I mean, we literally have half of the amount of inventory that we had last year.
Right.
So it is certainly still a seller's market. I'm starting to hear things, you probably are too, right, Kenny, where people are starting to post things in our industry. Seller's market is over. And I'm like, not so fast. Not so
No.
fast. However, in certain markets, we are starting to see things level off, right?
Right.
Okay.
Right.
All right. So I'm going to continue to bore everybody. Months of inventory for 2021 is 1 month of inventory. Okay. They round up or down. Okay. Actually, no, they don't. They left it right on. That's for the entire state of Maryland. I apologize. In 2020, it was 2.2 months of inventory. Again, more than double the amounts of inventory. Now, the way that the months of inventory work out there, everybody, is that if you stopped listing any houses whatsoever, and if you sold X amount of houses this month, how many months would it take you selling that same amount of houses to sell out of all of your inventory? Right now, it's 1 month. You'd be all out of inventory. Last year, it was 2 months, 2.2 months to be exact. Okay. Also in 2021 versus 2020, the median days on the market is 6 versus 14 days. Now, 14 days is still great. So last year, it was still great. I mean, last year we were still selling. However, what I can tell you was a little bit different last year for me personally than it was this year, is that last year, every single person that showed my house, it was very important for me to get feedback so that I could make sure that I was on track and I could update my clients. Not that I don't care if I get feedback this year. However, I kind of don't care
Yeah,
because I
somebody's
know
gonna
in
buy it.
7 days it's going to be
Right.
under contract, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Although now that I see this, I'm like, all right, maybe I need to start
Mhm.
getting back to it. Okay. All right. Now, here is the kicker, ladies and gentlemen. The number of new listings for the month of June in 2021 was 12,668. In June of 2020, it was 10,284.
Wow.
This is the first time we've seen a surplus above the previous year in 2021. So
Mhm.
that is huge. That is if I do the math in my head, it's almost the same as the units sold from 2021 to 2020. It is a 24% increase.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. Now let's kind of back this up a little bit. Okay. So how many units went pending in June? Do you remember, of this year, of
Uh,
this month?
was it 8,000 something?
The close 10,699. Sorry, I know you're not looking at it. Everybody, Kenny's not looking at it. Okay. So the number of units that went pending in June was 10,699. Okay. Almost 100 less than what closed. However, in the same month of June this year, we actually had 12,668 list.
Hmm.
Again, about a 24% increase. Okay.
Yeah.
So it's starting to tell a story. Okay. Now, give us some examples, Kenny, of how you're starting to feel this in your own business.
Okay. So the main thing is people who are looking to sell. So the people that we are engaging, let's say in December, November, and we're like,
Mhm.
look, you're going to get on the market by March. Like
Yeah.
that's going to be the best time to jump out there. And people are fighting, we're talking 50, 65,000, over asking,
Yeah.
and, getting a dozen offers on every listing, probably within like the first 3 or 4 days of being on the market. And
Yeah.
also having the only house for sale in the neighborhood. That's
Oh,
really
yeah.
the key thing. And what you're seeing now is by the time we get on the market, we have some people who've been thinking about it and now they're really ready and like, okay, I'm ready to get out there. I finally got my stuff packed up. The house feels perfect. And then you're seeing that their neighbor is also listing.
Yep.
And depending on where their neighbor lists at, that could impact where they're going to have to list. And so now we're starting to see that we have to be more aggressive on the listing side and coming in a little bit lower than we would have been able to come out just, 60, 90 days ago. So
Absolutely.
number two is prepping the houses. So people were pretty much taking anything before. All of our
So true.
offers were as is. And then we had a lot with as is, with inspection without the right to terminate, or even as is, no inspection.
Right.
Now the buyers are saying, you know what, if I'm going to pay this amount of money, I want the house, to meet these minimums, right? So now they're
100%.
coming through with the inspections and their offers, and they're asking for the sellers to fix some items. So
Mm-hmm.
now buyers, and a lot of them are frustrated. So
Yep.
like, you know what, a lot of the buyers who like, this isn't the time for me, they've kind of started to fall off. Now we're starting to engage a lot more serious buyers out there who know what they want. They're not going to take, houses that have like severe defects or anything like
Mm-hmm.
that. And they're just getting a little bit more demanding for the dollar, and rightfully so.
Yeah, I agree. Great points. Awesome. Thank you, Kenny. Okay. We're gonna narrow it down a little bit, okay? Because our business primarily focuses in Anne Arundel County, Baltimore City, Baltimore County, Howard County, Carroll County, Frederick County, Montgomery County, Prince George's County, and Washington, D.C. So it's not all of Maryland. And also, of course, we have D.C. in there. And also, we're starting to do more business in Virginia, but we're going to leave that out for the purposes of this show. So I'm going to give the numbers to you quickly, okay? In May, the number of houses listed was 10,571, just in that area, okay? In June, the number of houses listed, 11,286. Are we seeing a pattern?
Yeah.
And is it going north or south?
So,
Well, the inventory is going north.
okay. I missed that.
The inventory is going north. All right.
I'm
So
referring to the market is going
yes,
south.
the market is going
sellers.
south. The inventory is going north. Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. We were talking about two different things, ladies and gentlemen. All right. So now the interesting thing is between the 2 months, the months of inventory has remained the same in this market, about 1.2 months worth of inventory. Okay. The units sold in May were 8,144. The units sold in June, 9,366.
Okay.
Now, interesting point here. We had, okay, so let me just point this out. 10,571. And then that was the listings in May. The listings in June, 11,286. So that's about 700. Okay. Only 700. However, sold, you had 8,148 versus 9,366, over 1,000. So actually more houses sold. Now, that may seem to some people like, oh, okay, well, that's great. That still means the seller's market. And of course it does. However, the fact that more houses have sold in June than they sold in May, and the number of listings that came on are less, actually shows us that houses are going under contract a little bit easier, right? Like people are ready, they're going. And so you're starting to see some numbers there that are starting to show you. In May, also the days on market, 17 days on market, 15 days in June. All
Right.
still very strong indicators for a seller's market, okay? Yet here's where things start to get a little bit slightly different, right? We got to get all the information for people to really understand. In May, the cumulative average list price to sales price was 102.27. So meaning that for every $100,000 that somebody listed their house for, they got $102,027 or $102,227, whatever that might be. Okay. But 102.27% of that 100. Okay. Now in June, it's not huge, but it is a difference, 102.11. Okay. So we're down about a 15th of a point in the amount. Okay. Now that is certainly interesting. Okay. Yet it's not groundbreaking. However, here's another stat that might make people start to go, uh-oh. All right. So in May, there were 446 houses that went more than 31 days before they went under contract. Okay. What do you think? Where do you think, plus or minus 100%, did those houses actually sell for the list price versus the actual sold price?
I'd say at least 5% less. than the list price.
They on average sold at 96.53% in May. Okay. 446 of them. In June, so you're very close. Very good, Kenny. In June, 541, 100 more houses almost, 96.15%. So we're seeing those numbers go up and the percentage come down even more. So here's a really good thing that we're starting, not a good thing. Here's something that we're starting to see. And I think you can agree with this and tell me if you think I'm wrong. Are we starting to see more people come right out of the gate a lot more aggressive than where they were a month or 2 months ago? Meaning their price being much higher than maybe where it should be.
Are we seeing you talking about the listings? Are we seeing more
listings? Are we seeing listings come out a lot more aggressive, higher price than where they were before, aggressive, lower price?
No.
Okay.
I'd say people are coming on the market priced lower than they would have been in March.
Okay. All right.
Well,
that's
what we're doing.
Yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what we're doing. However, I think what we're starting to see a little bit out there is that you're seeing people. All right. So let's say that.
I see what you're saying.
Let's say the house sold for 550, the last one in your neighborhood. And you go, but I want 570 because I know I'm going to get that anyways. You're starting to see agents say, I'm desperate for a listing. Okay, I'll do it.
Right.
I'll list it at 570. And guess what? Those 570s, when the last house sold at 550, those are your 31 plus days on the market because people are going, whoa, they're already way above and they're going to expect multiple offers. I'm not even going to write an offer.
Right.
Right.
Yeah. I agree with that.
So you're starting to see people kind of hurt themselves. Right now, you said something earlier that I think is a really, really important part. We kept telling everybody, try to get on by March, try to get on by March, try to get on by March. Do you think that we were the only agents out there that were trying to encourage people to list their house and capitalize on the market?
No, not at all.
It was probably all agents for the most part, right?
Right.
And sellers for the most part were somewhat resistant, right?
Yeah. Well, they were also thinking about, well where am I going to go?
Exactly. You know? I mean, why they were resistant, neither here nor there necessarily, but they were a lot more resistant. Now we're starting to see sellers come on the market. And now what we're starting to see is what I think I just described, where they've been getting bombarded by agents. And finally they go, you know what, fine, I'll sell my house, but I want this much. And agents being so desperate say, fine, I'll take your listing because they don't care if they have to reduce the price. So don't be that agent out there, ladies and gentlemen. Disappoint them versus letting them down, right? Disappoint them up front. Don't let them down the road. Okay. If you know that they're being unrealistic with their price, let them know. Be honest with them. Don't let them turn into a statistic of 96% of the list to sales price versus pricing it right and being at 103%.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
All right. So, I mean, I think there's gold in here. There's just crazy gold. Now here's one in the whole MLS that when you and I read this stat, we both went, what? In the last 7 days, ladies and gentlemen, 7 days between new coming soons and newly active listings, just in the last 7 days, there's a total of 10,618 new listings active and under contract. 2102 coming soon and 8516 newly active. Yeah. Now, I don't know what that's going to say for the entire month because we can't see the entire month yet. However, something tells me we're going to see numbers of listings go up even higher. Would you agree?
Yeah. I think it's a big ship. And, we've been monitoring these incremental changes that are showing that the market's definitely shifting. It doesn't happen overnight.
Yep.
So I agree 100%. And I don't think there's also a coincidence that rates took a drop right at that same point as the market started to slow down. So I think the experts are seeing that they have to stimulate, the economy a little bit, make these houses as affordable as possible so they can help to keep prices up higher. Right. But inevitably, this ship is slowing down, or at least 100%. Making a correction.
Yeah. And my prediction with our team, everybody out there, has been that by October, November, we were going to start to see things leveling out. I stated that probably by August, we would start to see it, and that by October, November, we would see them pretty much level. Okay. Back to a level playing field. I'm certainly not a genius. I just read the data, but it looks like I might be onto something.
Yeah.
Right. And it looks like we might be onto something over here at Red Anchor Properties, because we do just that. We study the data. We make sure that we know. All right. Now I hate to quote other companies other than ours, eXp Realty and Red Anchor Properties. However, this is a massive data company, and we're going to wrap it up with this, and then we'll probably chat just a little bit more, but we're going to wrap up the boring stats that I'm giving you. And hopefully nobody has fallen asleep while driving down the road. Okay. All right. So the last thing that we have here is an article from Inman, and it's an article, and here's the headline: bidding wars begin to cool as more home inventory comes online. Of course that's going to happen because there's more choices. Okay. It says buyer fatigue and growing home inventory may have contributed to a reduction in bidding wars in June, according to Redfin. Okay. Again, I hate to quote other people, but Redfin is a massive technology company, so we got to give them some credit here. It says here that the Seattle-based Redfin said 65% of its agents' home offers, so 65% of its listings, faced competition last month in June, which is down from 72% in May.
Wow.
I mean, 7%, right? So now it's not saying that the prices went down. It's not saying any of that. It's literally saying that 7% of the market saw a reduction in multiple offers at all.
Right.
At all.
Yeah.
That is huge.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, I can tell a personal story just from one of our recent listings where, you know, we priced it right at what the last house sold for, which is kind of our thing. We want to make sure that we're staying at the market. We're not trying to drive the market. We let the market drive the market. And we did. We got an offer. We listed it at 305 and we got an offer for $330,000. Great. Except that the offer wasn't going to guarantee any price over and above any appraisal shortfall. So the offer really was whatever the appraisal was. Okay. We ended up taking another offer that was a little bit higher that also was not guaranteeing any amount over and above the appraised value. But we went to negotiate hardcore because I knew there was a chance that the appraisal may not come in, and we were able to get them to come up $7,000 out of pocket. Well, guess what? The house appraised at $305,000, but they had a guarantee of $7,000. So now they are the highest sale in the neighborhood because of that additional effort to make sure that we got them some cash over and above out of pocket. And it wasn't easy, ladies and gentlemen. You know why? Because I didn't have 12 offers to go back to. I had three. Okay. This was a this was a low $300,000 price point townhouse that was only a 7-year-old home. We're not talking about like some dog out there. So we are certainly starting to feel the effects, more so in some areas than others. Right.
Right.
All right.
Absolutely.
So Kenny, what else do you have to share, if anything?
You know, it's the main thing is just keep your eye on the market, know which direction things are moving in so you can better prepare yourself, your clients. If you're out there and you're a buyer, this should be optimistic as well. I have a lot of buyers who have been looking to move into particular communities, and as soon as the house comes on, it's gone. Yeah. So now we're starting to see that some of these communities, the sellers are coming on the market and they have more options, or instead of them bidding against 15 other people, now they're just bidding against 3. And most of the time we're going to win, you know, because we know how to put it together a great offer. So, you know, this should be optimistic for buyers out there, for sellers. This should be, it might tell you the truth of where you stand right now, or maybe, you know, where the direction things are going. So if a stock was on its way down, you know, it doesn't mean that you don't sell it. It just means that, you know, there should be some urgency in when you sell. So now it's still a great time to sell. The fall is obviously going to be a less optimal time to sell. So don't feel like you missed anything, but try to take advantage of what the market is still continuing to give us now.
Yeah, 100%. And, you know, there's another thing that I think people really need to think about if they're selling a house. Okay. If you're thinking about selling your house and you just want to throw it on the market as is, you better price it very aggressively in the low side so that you can generate multiple offers and let the market do its work. Yet be prepared to do some work to it because you're probably not going to get off scot-free. So our recommendation would be do your carpet, do your paint, do your flooring, do those little things, do your landscaping, get your HVAC service. So at least it's service, get your roof tuned up, whatever it might be, and then put your house on the market. So spend a few bucks. It's going to go a long way, given that we're starting to see a little bit of a turn. I showed 4 houses last night to a very well-qualified couple that literally like 3 of them, and they now have the opportunity to write on 3 offers. The month before, because I've been working with them for 2 months trying to find them a house after we already sold their house for $55,000 over ask price. It was 1 house a week that we were able to get into.
Right. Yep.
I showed them 4 last night.
Yep.
That is a massive difference in just 1 month.
Yeah. Big time.
All right. Cool. All right. Rap stars. I hope this was helpful. Agents, go out there and be powerful. Make sure that you do a good job for your clients and consumers. If you have any further questions, please let us know. Kenny, where can everybody find you?
On Instagram at Realtor Kenny Fulton. Text me 443-763-0958 and on Facebook at Kenny Fulton.
All right, very good. And I am on Instagram at Realtor Romeo Santos. I am also at Red Anchor Properties on both Instagram and also on Facebook. And of course, call me 240-401-8023 or email me at romeo@redanchorproperties.com. And just to put a stamp on everything, ladies and gentlemen, I just opened up nerdwallet.com. Accurate as of 7/16/2021, 30-year fixed rate, 2.759.
Crazy. It's amazing.
Give us a call, buyers. We'll help you get in. All right, everybody. Have a great day.
All right. Peace.
Peace.